Inside the State House today at the old state capitol building, Governor J.B. Pritzker, he gave his State of the State and budget addresses. The key takeaways, hope for the future, and what he says his administration has accomplished. But as our Matt Roy explains, many aren't pleased with the governor's planning. Matt?
That's right. It was a snowy winter outside, but it was budget season inside the historic old state capitol today. Pritzker announced millions in funding for programs, $1 billion in tax breaks, and says he's willing to compromise on some other items if he allows those on the other side of the aisle at the grown-up table. In the same spot as Illinois' golden boy Abraham Lincoln once stood, Governor J.B. Pritzker gave his State of the State and budget address.
So Illinois, the state of our great state is strong, unbreakable, and enduring.
In front of a crowd that included legislators, first responders, nurses, and other essential workers, the governor took the time to thank them for fighting for Illinois the last 2 years.
I know that as you have watched your hospitals fill with patients once again these last 2 months, that there is a small but persistent voice inside of you asking you how much more you can take.
12 different times in his speech, he said he and his administration were the best in the nation at something. Pritzker says the state is no longer operating in a budget deficit, but instead a surplus. He also announced $1 billion in one-time temporary tax breaks in the next year, what he calls the Illinois Family Relief Plan.
It's clear that his budget is filled with one-time gimmicks designed to generate good news for voters in this election year.
Republicans had two main issues with Pritzker's speech. First was the, quote, gimmick one-time tax breaks while increasing spending by $2.5 billion. And the other was this statement.
During this budget cycle, especially, seats at the grown-up table will be off limits to those who aren't working in the public's best interests.
The governor seemed to imply that he's not even going to invite to the table Republicans to negotiate his budget with him.
It's reminiscent of the Blagojevich era.
Now, there were things Republicans liked as well, like putting more money towards fighting crime. But overall, Republicans are worried about the spending, and Democrats, like Senate President Don Harmon, say today was full of good news. In studio, I'm Matt Roy. Back to you.
Thank you, Matt. Now, the General Assembly will hold dozens of appropriation hearings over the next few months and then finalize the budget before session is scheduled to end in April.